Welcome to this insightful discussion on Marcus Aurelius Meditations and the timeless lessons it offers for leading a peaceful and fulfilling life. In this video, we'll delve into 5 fundamental principles of Stoicism, as practiced and exemplified by the Stoic Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to stay informed about our upcoming content, helping you embrace a Stoic philosophy for a harmonious life. Let's get started. Marcus Aurelius was an emperor of Rome during the 2nd century AD, when the Roman Empire faced many difficult situations and worries. He reigned in the extremely harsh conditions for the empire, such as wars, flood, and the danger from the Germanic tribes. Additionally, the emperor-philosopher had to face numerous misfortunes in the imperial family, such as the death of his loved ones. And all these events are the vivid background of his personal diary that initially was named to himself. Meditations was never meant to be published. He wrote them to himself as the kind of guidance and self-improvement writings during his tough campaign on Germanic tribes and coping with personal tragedies. In my opinion, the fact that Meditations might have never seen print is what makes this work even more authentic and relatable. We can see how one of the most powerful men in the world went through the same problems we face today. My learnings from an insightful and timeless guide to a peaceful and fulfilling life. 1. Focus on your mind, not the outside events. One of the most important convictions is the Stoic worldview. They believed that the world is organized rationally and coherently. More specifically, the all-pervading force called Logos rules the world and constantly strives to achieve its goal. Logos is the absolute power that connects to worlds, individuals, and the universe as a whole. Individuals and the universe as a whole. So, humans shouldn't be focused on external circumstances, but instead shift their perspective and primary focus on what they can control. What they can control is the mind, not the outside world. All events are determined by the Logos and follow an unbreakable chain of cause and effect. Aurelius was deeply convinced that Stoic philosophy shows that human life, despite its apparent vanity, has a very definite sense, and all the hurtful events and changes in the world constitute a one, uniform process that realizes a greater goal. Aurelius painted a new, shining example of a man who lives in accordance with nature and reason, because he knows that it frees him from sorrows, vanity, uncertainty, and fears. In short, he lives in harmony, walks on the road, and accepts what the universe is about, heads or tails. All the events can't hurt us because that would be contrary to the views on the rationality and purposefulness of Logos, which rules the world. Nature itself excludes events that man wouldn't be able to cope with. A man should throw away the fears of challenges because all the hardships are unnatural. To a being with Logos and a natural action is one that conflicts with the Logos. A similar approach is offered by Christian ethics, justifying the conflict that God is merciful, but on the other side, some of our experiences are sorrowful, moon, and painful. Christians believe that each of us has a cross that has to bear, but God wouldn't send us a burden that we couldn't bear. The common ground between Aurelius Stoicism and the Christian faith is that humans' goal is to work on how to react to the events and lay all the trust in the universe. Therefore, you should be focused on your mind because you have power over it, and you should leave the external events, since they happen because they have to fulfill the greater mission. This is how Logos manifests itself. The events don't even think about you, and they shouldn't be perceived immoral. terms as bad or good because there always is a greater mission behind them that we don't see. 2. Attitude is foundational. The things you think about determine the quality of your mind. Your soul takes on the color of your thoughts. Aurelius believed in the driving force of thoughts. He was clear that thoughts, both from an individual and a general perspective, influence the shape of the world. Following Stoic philosophy, Marcus Aurelius was deeply convinced of the purposefulness and the rationality of the universe. But what reveals that the rational side of the universe is so-called pneuma, a divine force that permeates everything. Therefore, he believed that everything is linked, particularly highlighting the connection between a man and the universe. But what turns out to be more important, in terms of the quality of the thoughts, is the close connection within a man itself. According to the emperor-philosopher, humans are linked not only to the universe but also within themselves. Mind and thoughts are tight and manifest in the quality of our lives. So he was convinced that it is better to have more positive thoughts than the opposite. Aurelius thought that each human creates a small world, the own microcosmos by ideas and thoughts. Therefore, each human is capable of controlling his thoughts, but also using them in a highly productive way. It's time you realized that you have something in you more powerful and miraculous than the things that affect you and make you dance like a puppet. What's in my thoughts at this moment? Fear, jealousy, desire, feelings like that. By following the thoughts of the Stoic philosopher, we can also conclude that the quality of life is independent of external factors. In Meditations, he stated that anywhere you can lead a good life, because what speaks to the quality of life is the quality of the thoughts that shape it, regardless of any events. 3. Happiness is a skill you can develop, but true good fortune is what you make for yourself. Good fortune, good character, good intentions, and good actions. Roman Emperor granted everyone the right to happiness, which depends exclusively on himself. Aurelius stated that the happy one is the one who has prepared for that, but at the same time, he adds that nobody can be sure of happiness, as long as it depends on external circumstances. Aurelius was in favor of that human beings have more causative power on their happiness and life in general than they may imagine. He leaves external factors and events for nature, and he deals with practicing happiness on his own because he can control it. Coming to a state of pure happiness, according to the Stoic, is a type of spiritual exercise, connected to that part of the soul that relates to everyday life. Feeling happiness is the natural state, because it is felt by a rational soul who belongs to the same world order as Logos. Therefore, a happy human is content with everything that surrounds him. Achieving a state of happiness is possible by choosing the right path of thinking, but also by fulfilling daily duties without complaining. Aurelius gives us some practical tips. Make sure you remain straightforward, upright, reverent, serious, unadorned, an ally of justice, pious, kind, affectionate, and doing your duty with a will. Fight to be the person philosophy tried to make you. When a person is dissatisfied, he should think that the soul does not succumb to any influence, neither mild nor violent, until it closes up and become aware of its own power. The human soul does not feel any pain, except the man himself will make it pass the judgment. If a person is troubled by something external, what bothers him is his judgment, not the actual state of the event. And that's why the Stoic emperor encouraged us to train control over the mind, because the appropriate attitude and the ability to control it can do wonders for our happiness. Your ability to control your thoughts treated with respect. It's all that protects your mind from false perceptions, falls to your nature, and that of all rational beings. It's what makes thoughtfulness possible, and affection for other people, and submission to the divine. Happiness is a skill that we can develop by practicing various forms of exercise, from fulfilling duties, restraining judgments, to mental exercises based on moon-controlling thoughts. Appropriate attitude also plays a crucial role, because it prevents us from making false statements toward the rational universe. 4. Objective judgment. The mind is the ruler of the soul. It should remain unstirred by agitations of the flesh, gentle and violent ones alike, not mingling with them, but fencing itself off and keeping those feelings in their place. When they make their way into your thoughts, through the sympathetic link between mind and body, don't try to resist the sensation. The sensation is natural, but don't let the mind start in with judgments, calling it moon good or bad. Stoic Roman emperor was in a favor of defining the quality of life by how we take care of our mind, because the mind is a ruler of the soul and influences all aspects of our everyday life. Following Stoic philosophy, Aurelius stated that reason guides the moral activities of human beings while overcoming their false or any judgments. Stoic philosopher in Meditations concludes that everyone should beware of making judgments, because they come from emotions, not the rational side of a human being. Therefore, it's counterproductive and not beneficial to make judgments. Marcus Aurelius was deeply convinced that it is within our power to not disturb minds by making judgments. If a sensation of making judgments occurs, we should approach it naturally without resentment, but take into consideration that every event happens for a higher reason. In short, there's always a mission behind any event that is fulfilling the purpose of the universe. Following Aurelius' thoughts, we can conclude that everything is neither good nor evil, both life and death, pleasure and pain. Therefore they are no more good than their evil. 5. Know yourself and value your opinion. It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own. A God appeared to us all a wise human being, even and prohibited us from concealing our thoughts, or imagining anything without immediately shouting it out. We wouldn't make it through a single day. That's how much we value other people's opinions instead of our own. The emperor philosopher pointed out that we as human beings have a deeply seated tendency to share our thoughts with people, impatiently waiting for their opinion. The lesson that comes from his thoughts is an encouragement to get to know yourself at first. There's another Stoic quote that reflects on his belief in the power of human thoughts to shape the world. So Aurelius wanted to warn us not to fall into constantly listening to opinions, because these very opinions will become our thoughts, which can negatively affect our quality of life. We should treat thoughts with respect and protect them from external influences, such as the opinion of others. Aurelius encouraged us to take care of the mind by deeply figuring out what's the actual state and what are only subjective judgments. He admonished us not to become a habit that reacts to everything, and encouraged us to limit ourselves to the facts, not the misperceptions that often come from others. Discard your misperceptions, stop being jerked like a puppet. Limit yourself to the present. Understand what happens to you, to others, analyze what exists. Break it all down, material and cause. Anticipate your final hours, other people's mistakes. Leave them to their makers. The ethical ideal of Aurelius's philosophy is a wise man who can control himself and is self-sufficient. He found good within himself and is always calm. The philosophy of Marcus Aurelius gives the man some support in a world of passing and uncertainty. In wrapping up our discussion on Marcus Aurelius' Meditations, we've learned 5 important lessons that help us live a peaceful and satisfying life. These lessons from the ancient Roman emperor teach us to accept things as they are, stay strong in tough times, and understand ourselves better. By following these teachings, we can find calm and purpose in our everyday lives. Remember these ideas, they can make a big difference.